this afterwards.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
So through here, we'll just start up again so you have it from the recording. So the title, you'll have the format, URL you're able to change as needed. The event types, right now we'll do the KC Drive-In Small Conference. So you can search for the event host as needed. And then additional host image is available, your start date and end date, and then short location, and then short description and description, which is what's represented here in the bold and less bold information. And all of this is also in this Word document. So you'll pick the event type. Like I said, this is most of my training and my work is on the region. So anywhere where it says region, just substitute KC. Event host, the start date, the short description, and there's some breakdowns as well here in the document of how it'll look. There are options for event images. So within the back end of the system, there is an event image. This will be what shows up on the actual website. So for here, you can't see it, but it's this event image, that's the little square. Important dates. So when you think of the event, so if there is, let's say if they were doing a drive-in, so if people were actually going to come together, and the drive-in will have a call for programs. So people are going to submit programs to the conference. Important dates is something that you would list some of the big picture stuff. So the opening of the call for programs, the opening of registration, whereas there are actual individual sections in registration and individual sections in call for programs where you can put more specific dates. So in the registration date section, you could put registration opens, early bird, regular registration, registration closes, a lot more. But this important dates section is kind of the big picture dates that you're going to need. Registration, so anytime there is an event or something that's going to get set up, I will be the one that actually works on getting the registration system set up. That's a whole new system. This is just to create the event page. So for here, I would give you the link that goes into here and would edit these registration information sections. And then we can work to get that activated. And you'll see instructions on here for registration that I will take care of, but just so that you have it on how it works, I provide the link, and then you really just manage any edits to the event page. There is an option for a Twitter and Instagram hashtag or a Twitter account, and that is social media that you can follow on the page. So it populates here, you see on the right, if people want to share it, but then it also populates on the page itself. So you can follow anyone who's on Twitter or on Instagram using these hashtags. Event registration dates. This is where I was saying you get more specific on what you need for event registration dates.
Question.
And then event, yeah.
Sorry. But for the Twitter account portion, does that mean like specific to that like event, right? Or is like kind of like, let's say DKC wants to like be known that's like posted by them, like, oh, follow us on like our social media if we have a Twitter. I don't think we do, but
so it can be a little bit of both. And as you see here, there is a hashtag and then an account. So if the DKC wants people to follow, and I believe there's a DKC Twitter account, the account for DKC would go here under Twitter account. But if there is an event specific hashtag, so let's say hashtag DKC social, that could go in the Instagram hashtag section. If they just wanted to stick to hashtag like NASPA DKC and it's always the same hashtag so people can see everything, they can also do that. But it is only one hashtag per line.
Okay. And it's just Twitter, right? Like no Instagram like account.
It does grab on the hashtag side, it does grab Instagram.
But not to add the account.
Not the account, yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's one of the updates I think that's coming down. But right now it only grabs the Instagram account or Instagram hashtag.
Okay, cool.
So this event fee section, there's a description, a good description in the Word doc on how to use this. It's not meant to be tricky, but it can be tricky. So let's say you are offering registration for the event, and it is a certain dollar amount. That is, again, I have a form that people fill out before I set up registration, and then I can provide all of the information to you. But it would be, and the best bet that I always have is to follow the instructions that are listed at the top. So we have our standard membership types. So we do a NASPA member, NASPA student member, non-member, and then student non-member. Those are usually the basic ones that we have. There's different pricing for them, but it's always good to follow this. So it says add a new line for each type, examples, NASPA member, non-member, student member. So that's how you know these types. Cutoff dates. So some events might have the same price across the board. And then that you don't have to, you just put whatever it is, but sometimes there's a price increase as you get closer to it. So we might have an early bird that would, let's say, open today and close tomorrow. And then we have a regular registration that starts on the 23rd and closes on Friday. This area here with groups, so this is, for most of the events that you'll work on, they probably won't require too much, but let's say if it's a larger event and there is a registration, so general conference, it might be a 2-day event, and they might have pre-conferences. So those might be 2 separate prices. So you'll have pre-conference, and then just registration fees. Now, as we've been working here at the top, the system has automatically been creating these different areas.
Oh, that's cool.
So then we have products that we create. So the products link back to the groups that we made. So we'll have full event registration, and then that gets linked to this registration fees section. And then we'll want to see, and you can see the boxes start to get created. And here we'll do workshops or pre-conferences. And it just gets connected back to the pre-conference section. Now, in any of these, nothing will change until I hit this add button. So you see that I've typed stuff in, I've connected it, but I haven't hit add on the left, and that box won't be created. The second I hit add, it shows up. So now we've created a pre-conference table that shows the product, the different fees, and the amounts per date. And so we would do, all right, so this is $10, this is $15, whatever the price is, might be cheaper for students, and it might be more expensive for non-members. As you enter information on here, you don't ever have to put dollar signs, it does it automatically. The other piece that's cool is you don't have to enter information for every section. So let's say some of these pre-cons, it doesn't matter your membership type. So if it doesn't matter the membership type, I might just put the same number across all of them. If it's specifically just for students, you don't enter any information in the NASPA member section or non-member section, and only the 2 lines that say students will populate. Cancellation policies, that's something that I'll be able to provide. And then we're in the call for programs section. So here, if there is a call for programs, you can put a little bit of content on here. I work on creating the call for programs link because it's in a different system. So I'll just give that to you. And then call for programs deadline, all of these pieces. With any of these that look like these boxes, some of the things to note. So you can add dates in here. So first is offer programs deadline. If you need to add more information in any of these, you can either hit the plus sign underneath it, or you can hit the little arrow next to the number, and it'll give you an option. You can also grab and drag things around as you need it. And that's how a lot of these work. In creating content, and you just add however you need to move things around. There's an option for schedule that allows you to add information on here. Schedule itself, this one's a little bit different than the other sections. So let's say the date of the event is today, and it starts at 9 a.m. and then it goes till 10 a.m. Location, session 1, and then your speaker. If you need to add more sessions within the same day, you hit the plus sign on the right, and that gives you another row. If you need to add more days, you add the plus sign on the left, and that gives you another day with more information. I would say pay attention to this because I had a conference once when I looked at their schedule. It was 40 days long because they kept hitting plus on the left instead of on the right. So it was the same day. Everything was August 21st, but it was just a bunch of August 21st because they put every single session separately.
Mm-hmm.
So something to keep an eye on. Within these, at least within these, maybe not the start end date ones, but in details, if you know, do you know HTML? HTML coding?
No.
Okay. If needed, it might be helpful. I didn't know it very well when I started working at NASPA, but you can look up like an HTML cheat sheet, and it tells you how to make, at minimum, the things that I know are how to make something bold or underlined or italicized. Those are probably the biggest things. So if you're putting details in this detail section, and they don't have character limits. So if they're like, hey, we need this paragraph added under these sections, you can add the whole thing. If they're like, in this paragraph, I want the name italicized and I want this in bold, learn some of the HTML coding, and I'll look and see where my links are, and I can send you some. And they're really simple little codes where you're just kind of like, hey, you enter these characters in it, and then it does it for you automatically. The other benefit here with the schedule is that you can add a PDF version of it. So you can do a very generic schedule up here, and then you can do a full PDF version of it up here.
So for the schedule, because I'm thinking even going back, like the call for programs, clearly there's like no programs listed. So is it just like you put session 1 and then like somehow say that there's a certain amount of sessions during session 1?
So you can do it a few different ways. You could create this one here at the top that is session 1, and then you don't add additional times, and then this is, session 1 title, and then you'll have all of the titles or all of the sessions within that session 1 block you can list under it. Oh, and I just got logged out. You can list under it. So, or you can put it into that detail section. And
Okay.
that requires knowing a little bit more HTML, because then it'll all come out as one big paragraph. But if you want it to be broken out, you'll need to do that. But I usually suggest just adding some additional blocks. So like I said, you'll have head session 1, and then if you add more times, this would be title 1, and then this would be title 2. And what's helpful about that is that, this whole thing is from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
and doesn't have a location, but here you can put room 1, room 2, and then you can put the speaker for this session, and then maybe a description for their session specifically in there. I usually, in the schedule, try and just keep it to that first row because it changes so often. You don't want to have to go back and edit this all the time. It's
Yeah.
much easier to have your schedule built as a generic schedule, and then you can always upload a PDF.
Like
And it's
once
easier for
the
you to make changes. Yeah, like if you have a Word document where everything is running and just keep editing that and then upload a PDF of it, um, it'll look, so the schedule will look like this. So you'll be able to see the date, event, speaker one. This is where details, they pop up as additional information. Um, and they've got multiple days, but the schedule here will be a separate thing. And it's easier for you to upload a new schedule each time than to have to go in and change all of these sessions.
makes sense.
Pre-conference events is pretty similar. Like I said, I don't know how big some of the events might be. If they are multi-day, they might have pre-conferences, but an opportunity for you to put some information on here. Sponsor exhibitor information. There isn't a lot that I know from DKC that goes on with sponsors, but if they do get a sponsor that they're interested in highlighting on the conference page, they can put their information in here, or sorry, with the sponsors here, it allows you to put the sponsor name, a link to their website, and then you can actually add a logo. And that will look something like this. So it'll break them out into different levels. So you can ask DKC leadership, like, hey, what level sponsor should they be at? And then it'll do it like this. And it automatically puts the highest level sponsor at a bigger size. And then it just breaks it down into smaller groups. If there are faculty or speakers for the event that you want to highlight, these are the two sections with the introduction and the speakers, and that will look like this. So it'll be their headshot, their name. If they have a bio, it'll do their bio, little pop-ups, so things like that, options for that information. And then the venue is where it's being hosted at. So just general information about the space, if there's a picture for it. So if it is an offsite reception at annual conference, this is a good place to say, oh, here's the restaurant that we're meeting up, or here's the campus location that we're going to. There are options for multiple venues, but normally it's just one venue that you have to worry about. Okay. The other piece that I'll show you, so this is if it is a general event that might be happening anywhere in the country that DKC wants to put on. The other option is if it is an event that is affiliated with annual conference. So that's this constituent group events at annual conference. This will automatically tie it to our annual conference page. It follows pretty similar formatting, so you still have the title, the URL. You'll still want to put the event host, short description, image. So a lot of this is still the same. It just automatically ties it to the annual conference page. Okay. Anything in here that you don't fill out will not show up. So all of these extra bullets and different things are only populated because I have entered information into them. But if there's any space that you don't need to enter information, it's not going to show up, and it'll be easier for you to manage. Right. So, but these are the two main ones that you're going to work on are KC Drive-In Small Conference and then constituent group events at annual conference. The other piece that I wanted to show you, and this is probably easier for you to sit and watch them, and I'll make sure you get access to this, is we have our online learning community. And this is where you can go and do all of your training, and I'll connect you with Stephanie King to make sure that she's giving you the exact training that you'll need for this. But there are videos and tutorials on how to send out emails. So every knowledge community has the opportunity to send out emails to anyone who has signed up for their listserv. You can do things through there. There's a video. there's another video similar to, and so you'll have this recording, but another one on how to edit the website. So how to edit your homepage for that, and how to do some of the sub pages. So that'll give you access to this page. So you'll be able to make edits essentially. You'll be able to make edits to the DKC homepage, all of this information on here.
Got it.
And the way that you'll access it is when you come in, you'll go to NASPA.org and you'll log in. And when you're logged in, it's only going to give you access to the constituent group you're a part of. So that'll be DKC. You'll see either at the top of the page or at the bottom of the page, there'll be a little admin button. And when you click on the admin button, it'll give you a drop down. It'll say like edit page, create a new blog, or make an event, stuff like that. I can't see it because anytime I log in, it logs me in as staff, so I can't show it to you, but that's what it'll look like for you. It'll be a little admin button.
Yeah, it's the same because I'm the like Region 4 West representative, and so that puts me like on the advisory board. Same thing, right? Like
yeah, it'll be the same thing. You'll just be able to see it for DKC.
Cool.
So then on here, you'll be able to see how to do blogs, and it's pretty much, it all looks like the same system. So everything is run through Expression Engine. So when you are going to create something, so like if you're going to create a blog, you'd go to the blog, and then it gives you the opportunity to enter the title, the URL, who is doing it. So here you'd put Disability KC, author, and then the text. So it all is the same system. It's just different different boxes of what you can put in.
Yeah.
Okay. Trying to see, there's a lot of other things, and Stephanie will be able to provide you some really good insights on tips and tricks KC specific, and I can help you with any of the event pages or different things. I know in the last few calls that I've had with DKC, they have talked about wanting to host more events, so I'm sure that'll be coming down the pipeline and we can work on all of that.
Yeah.
But on this page, you'll be able to edit any of this information. The only thing that's a good note is on the leadership team page. If anybody ever says, and you can see on here that there's some people that don't have pictures, if they ever say, oh, I need to edit my picture, can you do it for me? You don't have access to edit anything on this page. This is pulled from their member profile. So if Cindy changed her title, if she changed institutions or email, she actually has to go back to her NASPA profile and update it, and then it'll be populated on here. And she has to go back and add her picture into it. So every once in a while, people will say, hey, help me out with this. Can you move something for me? You can't do it. Just let them know, actually, I need for you to go back and edit this.
Yeah, because clearly I have to upload my picture too.
Yes. Yeah. So just that's I think, yeah, if I remember correctly, it's the only part you can't edit. And a lot of people are often kind of like, oh, can you send this to me? Can you fix it? Can you do it? Just tell them, I can't edit this. You have to do it on your own. If they have issues trying to fix it, you can always connect them to me, and then I can help them out. But the actual editing has to come from them.
Cool.
All right. So I will follow up once we're done with a bunch of additional resources. I'll make the introduction to Stephanie as well. And then that way she can get you connected to all of the KC specific training materials, and then give you access to edit the site and the tutorials that I was showing you. All right.
Yeah.
But as you're going through it, if you have any questions, always feel free to shoot me an email. I'm happy to jump on another call or walk you through some of the pieces. The system's always changing, so there's always a lot of different things. So don't feel like if we went over something and all of a sudden you can't do it. Sometimes it's because of us, and we might have changed something in the system.
Got it. Cool.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, of course.
Really
happy to work together.
Do you prefer Danny or Daniel? I've seen both.
I go by Danny.
Danny. Okay. Just wanted to know.
Yeah, I go by Danny. Cool. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, of course.
Cool.
Thank you so much, Danny. Appreciate it again.
All right, Patrick. Well, enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. You have a good one.
See ya. Bye.